In this week's episode of Seriously Fun Business TV, I talk about the 8-second rule and why it's critical to be thoroughly prepared for your webinars and live events. Hey, how you doing? Nick James here, and welcome to episode number 8 of Seriously Fun Business TV. It's been a very long week or so, and so we're a little bit late with this week's broadcast, so apologies those of you that are watching on Facebook Live. Thanks for tuning in, apologies for a little bit of a long period of time in between episode 7 and episode 8. The reason for that, we've been crazy busy for the last week. We've run a couple of the event marketing masterclasses in London. Is that even a word? Masterclasses? It doesn't sound like it. I'm not sure what the plural of masterclass. It's meant to be hyphenated, I can't know. Really? Yeah. Fascinating. So we've run 2 event marketing masterclasses in London, as well as lots of other stuff. One of the most interesting things, or something that I always look forward to once every quarter, one of my clients I've been working with for many years, Rolf Stauffer, who's the head of a company called Golf in Mind. He comes over once a quarter to spend some time with me and work on his business. And whenever he comes over, we also spend a bit of time on the golf course working on my golf game as well, which I always find highly enjoyable. And there was something specific that he gave me on the golf course, which I think is going to be really valuable, and it's quite useful how I think that applies to business. And that was this. So he's been working with a very small group of people, very high price, and they basically have one thing that they focus on every single month. Now that alone I think is quite insightful, because if you try and focus on loads of different projects all at once, then you end up getting overwhelmed and don't do any of them very well. So I think just the idea of that his best clients, the ones that he works most intensively with, just work on one thing per month in their golf game. And this month, the thing that he's working on with his clients and the thing that he's got me to work on in my golf game is what he calls the 8-second rule. And how this came about is really interesting as well, because Rolf also does golf trips all over the world in exotic locations. And last year he took a bunch of clients to a PGA Tour event. I forget where it was, some exotic location. I think it was in the Emirates or something like that. And they were studying some of the best golfers in the world. These guys were at the absolute top of the game. And after they'd been watching these guys on the course, they kind of all got together, him and the group of clients, and said, so what did you notice? What were the commonalities? What were the themes? What were the things that all the top guys did that you might have not seen in amateur golfers? And there was one thing that all, and if you're a golf fan, you might want to even check this out, all the top golfers do. Kind of one thing, but it's split into 2. The first one is that all the top golfers take their practice swing behind the ball instead of next to the ball, which doesn't seem like a big deal really, but if all the top guys do it, it might make sense to model that excellence. And then the second thing they do is they take a maximum of 8 seconds. So this is not turning into a golf education video. There is a metaphor, or there is a business reason for me teaching you this. That they take a maximum of 8 seconds from taking their final practice swing to getting the ball in the air. So Rolf shared this with me, and I thought, why not try this on, see how it works? And so all I focused on for the entire round of golf that we played was the 8-second rule, nothing else. Didn't think about anything else while I was playing, didn't think about my swing, didn't think about how hard I was hitting the ball, didn't think about anything else other than the 8-second rule. And I had one of the best rounds of my life. I've been playing the game since I was 12 years of age, and I had one of the best rounds of my life just by focusing on this one thing. So I think there's a couple of lessons there in business. Number one, focus on one thing at a time. In other words, if you're looking at each month in your business, then look at what's the core focus, what's the big project, what's the big outcome you want to achieve in this month, or maybe do it weekly in this week. We do that in our business. We have our big thing for the week that everyone individually is responsible for, and then we report that every Monday morning in our meeting. So have one thing that you're focusing on is definitely a good lesson. And the second thing is really look at what are the commonalities of the people at the absolute top of the game, what are the things that they do that other people don't do, and then model that excellence. And you might see that you get better results from doing that. And then the second thing that I wanted to talk about this week, which I think the Facebook Live video has been taken away, and I think it's probably because there was a phone call coming in on that phone. The second thing I wanted to talk about this week was that we did a couple of these event marketing masterclasses in London, which went really well. But what was fascinating to me, and we also did a couple of webinars as well, so it's been a really busy week for delivering fresh content. And what really fascinated me was that we did 2 event marketing masterclasses, and how I felt about the second one versus the first one was completely different. Felt way better. And in terms of sales, conversions at the event, we did way better in the second one as well. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's because it was the second time that I'd done it. So I'd already had one rehearsal or one trial run, if you like. Then when I came to do it the second time, it was much slicker, much more succinct, much better quality. Same thing with the webinar. I did 2 webinars just on Wednesday. I did one at 1 o'clock lunchtime, one at 8 in the evening. The 8 in the evening one, it was far better. The presentation felt better to me. It felt like we gave more value. People on the call were more engaged. They were asking more questions. And unsurprisingly, sales conversions at the end of the webinar were, insanely higher, like 3-4 times higher on that webinar than the one we'd done at lunchtime. So I think the lesson there is to prepare thoroughly and maybe even have a practice run on any content you're going to deliver, whether that's a live seminar, whether it's a webinar. Having the time and putting the time aside to prepare thoroughly and rehearse it will make a huge difference to the quality of the message you deliver and also to the result you get in terms of sales at the end of it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been quite a short one actually this week. And the food van has now arrived. The brunch van that arrives in our little office complex and has a nice Dukes of Hazzard style horn has arrived. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it for you. Now we're going to take a quick time out for Big Fish to insert the meme of the week. Have you got one prepared for this week, by the way?
In my usual style, no.
You don't have one prepared. I think what we should do is we should start having it decided ahead of time so that I can give a really nice introduction to it. Then that'd be an improvement to the show.
What I'm doing at the moment is getting girls on Tinder to send me memes. That I think would be good for the show.
You're using our show as a lead in to talk with girls on Tinder to get them to send you memes.
Quite the opposite. I'm leveraging Tinder as a way of enhancing this
our
show.
Content.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
thank you.
Fish is already practicing that 8-second rule with these girls on Tinder.
Really? Well, I think the less said about that, the better. By the way, who we got on the Facebook Live broadcast? We'll probably edit this bit out of the live show, by the way, of the actual show.
I don't have to see who's on it. We've got 9 viewers. Could you please identify yourselves? Ask any questions.
Maybe just post a little comment, let us know that you're in, and then maybe it will pop up on the screen. If not, that's completely okay.
Give you a shout
Thanks
out.
for joining us. Yeah, we'd love to give you a shout out.
Voyeuristic, isn't it, really, what we're doing?
Maybe you could put it that way. Here we go. Let's have a little look.
Nicholson's in the house.
Jimmy Nicholson in the house.
The Kino.
Thanks for did an interview with James Nicholson for Rocket Marketing Hub this week. If you're part of the Advanced Business Growth group on Facebook that James runs, then and if you're not, you should join it. 'Cause some really good stuff in there. And when you join that group, you'll get access to the interview that James and I did a little bit earlier this week, which wasn't my normal kind of content. We kind of went off piste a little bit and answered some other questions, which apparently that interview is going out before lunch today. So if you join the Advanced Business Growth group on Facebook, that's James Nicholson's group, then you'll get access to that interview as well as loads of other great stuff. There's a really good community being built in there with a lot of some very well-known people in the kind of events business. So yeah, definitely worth joining that group. And James Nicholson's taken the liberty of adding a link to the Facebook group in the feed underneath this live video broadcast.
We're going to delete that. Yeah. I'm going to come off the screen. The number of viewers has dropped significantly.
Alright, so it's obviously just you. Alright, so let's wrap this thing up. So
introduce him. Big Fish and Meme of the Week.
Thanks for joining us. That was the meme of the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll speak to you next week.